Alright everybody, welcome back to part 8. So we sent the frame to get the engine mounts removed, and then there was something else for the steering as well that had to come out to get the frame powder coated. Then we got the frame powder coated, which that took a while, a couple weeks. And then we just got the frame back from the shop again because you gotta put all the engine mounts back into the bike. So let's get the frame in here and start putting it back together. Also, be sure to check out custommotorsportprints.com. And yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, we got the frame. The rim I'm actually going to hide. You saw a little sneak peek, but the rims I'm going to put them to the side, and I'm going to reveal them like up close and whatnot once I have the tires put on them. But here we got the frame. These are the things that had to be put in and out of the frame for it to get powder coated, and then of course the engine mounts. So let's get this thing out of here, and yeah, let's put it back together. Alright, here we go. Here's the frame, all powder coated, gloss black. Looks so much better. What's next? I don't even know where to begin. Probably put the radiator back on. Yeah, that's probably the next thing to do. Well, obviously gotta bolt it back up, but yeah, I think maybe radiator's next. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. Alright, this is where I'm at. I kinda got carried away. This is like, there's really not much to show, like, during this part. It's just kind of putting plugging everything back in. This electronics box came out a little bit smaller than I was hoping. Everything fits, just very tight. Good thing I didn't paint it yet, because we do have to drill one more hole, like around here, down there, for the O2 sensor. Let me see. I don't even dare touching this. I got everything in here. Anyways, there's a plug in there that is gonna have to like come out somewhere under here, and it needs to plug into the O2 sensor. So there's gonna need to be a hole in here somewhere, so that wire can come out. And then there's also another wire that needs to come to the battery down here. We already have one hole for the majority of these wires. They need to come down here to the battery and the alternator or starter, something like that. But yeah. Yep. So yeah, this is where we're at. Kind of just plugging, like as you can see all the tape on the ground, matching up everything that's labeled and plugging everything back in. Like all this back here, pretty much it's gonna be all these wires already plugged in. So they're gonna be ran along this piece, and then here we have the fuel pump connector, and this is for the rear brake lights. If I could show you real quick. So this hole was meant for that. This isn't scratched, this is used to be washed or something. It's supposed to be like nice shiny. Anyways, this cable is supposed to go through this hole, because obviously the lights are up here. So the lights and the wiring are going to run underneath the foam for the seat, and this was supposed to come up here and run along like that. But how do I do this with one hand? You get the idea. The wire would come out from this hole, run along the center of the seat pan, and the wires would connect up over there. But this is too big for that hole, so that hole's gonna have to be bigger, unfortunately. Even though this is new powder coat, that's gonna have to be cut up a little bigger hole, but it'll be okay. This piece is underneath the tank, so no one's gonna see that. Well, actually, no one's gonna see any of it, but anyways. Yeah. But so far, it's looking good. It's a little... It's a little interesting to see how, how this is gonna turn out. I just hope that it runs. I mean, I know the bike runs because I rode it already, but now I just wonder if I can plug everything up properly, you know, like make sure everything's ground, everything that needs to ground has a ground. Yeah. And then of course I still have to wire in the taillights and the headlights. Well, actually the headlight just plugs in, but the turn signal's up front, and then the tail light and turn signal's out back. Put the new rear master cylinder back there. Oh, that's too much zoom. And yeah, hopefully hopefully I do everything correctly. But it's gonna look so damn good, like already, even just with the black powder coated frame and the seat pan and everything, it's starting to look really good. And then obviously, of course, these pieces of engine are gonna have to get powder coated gloss black as well. And then here where it's silver, the BMW, and this is gonna be white. So, because this is like a gloss black, this is a gloss black, so now these pieces need to be gloss black as well. And yeah. So I'm gonna continue on, and also, so this bike doesn't have a mass airflow sensor. It just has a, where is it, temperature sensor. Somewhere over here. I think this is it. Yeah. So this has an air temperature sensor. So I think velocity stacks will work. I have no idea, but I think I'm just gonna get them, put them on, and zip tie. Will take the actual temperature sensor, plug it in, and zip tie it like right behind here, so that way it's reading the same air that's going into the bike, you know. I think that makes sense, because I really don't want to use a stock air box, so I think that's what we're gonna do. But we don't need to worry about that right now. What we gotta worry about is plugging everything back in together. So I'll put you guys back on the time lapse, the hyperlapse, and yeah. Alright, it's another day. Really, just been doing wiring. What we gotta do now is, which I probably should have done this before I put the wiring harness in, but put the electronic. It's like, it's kind of what is it called? Shit. Oh, choke. It's kind of like an electric choke. Pretty much when you start the bike cold, this right here, it opens the throttle bodies a little bit. So it's like, it holds the bike at a higher RPM for a little bit until you release it, right? Hey, Wabus! Jak se máme, chłopie? And that's my dog. His name is Sniper. And then we have to put in the throttle cable, which goes through here and attaches to the throttle down there. And then we have to put in the clutch cable, which goes to that down there, and then run them up. So yeah, we got to do that next, and then I think after that I'm gonna start working on replacing the rear master cylinder with the new one, and putting that all back together while we wait for the rims to get the tires on them. And then yeah, and then I'm going to, I think I know how to wire in the lights, but I'm gonna do a little research, ask some friends, just so I don't do it wrong. But yeah, starting to look like a bike again. Alright, we got the clutch cable hooked up, the cold start / high idle cable hooked up. Just I did lose that tiny little screw, so that's gonna be fun, finding a screw that will, oh, hold on, there we go. Yeah, that'll be fun, finding a screw, the right screw for that. I knew I was gonna lose something. And of course this is the fuel line. But yeah, and the throttle cable goes in here and connects down there. And right now I'm holding the controls like this. So yeah, now I'm gonna plug in the handlebar controls. Plug them into the main harness, and then what's next after that? Wire, and there's a few wires under here that I need to plug in / screw onto whatever they need to go onto. Let's see. Of course, you have to wire in the turn signals, the tail lights, all of that. But yeah. Alright, I might be making this out to seem a lot easier than it's probably going to be, but I mean, if everything works, right? This fuel line goes into that part of the tank, this fuel line goes into the fuel rail, positive terminal to the battery, positive to the battery. The ground cables are on the floor over there, which I don't remember exactly where each of the ground grounds go to the bike. So that's gonna be something I gotta figure out. I probably should have took photos. Maybe I did. I have to look back at my phone. Wire up the rear taillights. Get the rims. Get the tires put on the rims. Get the handlebars on to get all the controls on there. Put the hand grips on the. Put the grips, the new grips on. Figure out how to. I think I did this right, but we'll see if I did this right with a new gauge. Of course, the rear brakes have to be done, and of course, exhaust needs to be redone because I don't want a cat. I don't want a muffler, straight pipe with like a GP style muffler. I think that'd be pretty dope because these bikes sound really good. It's a 4-cylinder 1000cc bike, so take all this junk off and it'll sound even better than it is. Yeah, I plugged everything in. Everything seems to be where it's supposed to be. Really, the only thing that will stop it from running is if this isn't wired up correctly, because this needs to be done correctly in order for the bike to turn on. That is why I still have the original big boxy gauge cluster, because I'm going to first try to start it with the original big boxy gauge cluster, just so I know that it's not this that's wrong. So pretty much I'm going to, well, not today's video, this still got a lot of work to do, but when it comes time to try to start it, I'm going to use the original gauge cluster, because the bike won't turn on without the gauge cluster. It's like a part of the electronic system, it's like a little computer, I guess, for the bike. So I'm going to try to start it with the original one, and if it does, crank over, it does run, then we're going to shut it off, and then we're going to plug this in, and if it doesn't run with this plugged in, that means I messed that up. So I gotta keep doing research and make sure that's done correctly. But yeah, a lot of this stuff really isn't very interesting to do. It's just plugging wires in, figuring out where to put putting everything back together. But that's how it's looking so far. And I didn't put the. Oh, this is also the last thing we need to plug in and find a place for, is the ignition. And we need to find a place for the ignition and for the hazard switch. So I did leave the hazard switch in the bike. Maybe, put it up somewhere, just in case we need them. And on the stock airbox we have this, and there's another tube. Oh, right here, this. And it all runs into it looks like maybe a catch can on the in the airbox. So I'm wondering how to bypass all that. It's probably like a breather for the motor. So I'm gonna figure out how to bypass that, because I really just want to put the velocity stacks on the bike. I think it'll work, because this bike doesn't have a mass airflow sensor, it just has the air temperature sensor. So I think velocity stacks should work. But yeah, and then I didn't put this clip-ons yet because I don't have the bike on the ground, and you need a mallet, like a rubber mallet or piece of wood, and knockly tap them on, because it's such a precise, tight fit that I can't do that with how this is set up right now. So once we get the tire on the rim and whatnot, then we'll put the handlebars on, and we'll put the clip on, the top triple tree on, and then yeah, and then put the controls on the handlebars. Then try to wire up the lights, And also coolant expansion tank. I want to get a new one and put it somewhere over here in this area. I think that'll look good. And I also want to put the horn in here as well. And then of course all these wires need to be, you know, nicely done and tucked up under the tank. And also, as you can tell, I'm gonna stop pointing at the handlebar. As you can tell, Franek Frank from Frankie's Drift Garage, we cut out these. There used to be like a thing here with the hole, like it was a bracket. I think for this stock, for this, I think that's what it was for or something. Anyways, it was like that, and it didn't look good. So cut it nicely. And of course, you know, the tank needs to be repainted anyways, but yeah, cut it nicely so it looks a lot cleaner. And then same thing on the other side, of course. You know, cut it nicely and it looks a lot better. But yeah, I think this will be it for this video. I gotta get a video out there. It's been a month. It did take a while to get the frame and rims powder coated. Not gonna lie. But yeah. So it's looking like, that's what it's looking like so far. And for the rear seat, of course, all these wires are gonna be underneath the foam, and it's gonna be main seat here. Then, like in the video where I made like the template kind of, or the mock-up, right? It's gonna be the main seat here, and then it's gonna be all foam though. It's gonna be all the foam, so it's gonna be all foam. It's gonna be like the main seat here, and then up, and then to the tail. So, yeah. It's gonna be pretty much like the mock-up in, I think, a few episodes before. It's gonna be like the mock-up. It's just that it's all gonna be foam. And on the sides, it's gonna be more vinyl texture, like normal fake leather on the sides, because it will be it'll be like that, and then it'll come down like that, and then on the center of the seat it will be like Alcantara. That's what I'm gonna go with. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the build so far. Hopefully it's almost done. I really do hope it's almost done. But yeah, peace out. See you guys in the next video. The next video is probably most likely going to be revealing the rims with the tires, putting them on the bike, and putting the bike back on its wheels for the first time in a while. So that's probably going to be the next video. But yeah, peace out. Have a great night, and subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But yeah, peace out.